आशारे गणुछि दिन मुझे आशारे गणुछि दिन मुझे आशारे गणुछि दिन मन फूल हार दे आखि मेरे पाद धोई मन फूल हार दे आखि मेरे पाद धोई ए मोरा देहर मोर भेटी दे ए मोरा देहर मोर भेटी दे पसिबी तुमा शरण पसिबी तुमा शरण आशारे गणुछि दिन मुझे आशारे गणुछि दिन मुझे आशारे गणुछि दिन माथारे चरण धूली केबे होई दिमु बोली माथारे चरण धूली केबे होई दिमु बोली एतिकी मानर निवेदन मोरा एतिकी मानर निवेदन मोरा घेना कर जीवधान घेना कर जीवधान आशारे गणुछि दिन मुझे आशारे गणुछि दिन केबे सते मोरा भंगा कुड़िया केबे सते मोरा भंगा कुड़िया देव तुमे दर्शन देव तुमे दर्शन आशारे गणुछि दिन मुझे आशारे गणुछि दिन मुझे आशारे गणुछि दिन। जय गुरु।
जय गुरु। हासहि परम सुंदर आसहि परम सुंदर आसहि परम सुंदर मधु सौरभे आमोदित करी मधु सौरभे आमोदित करी बिरही मरम मंदिर বিরহী মরম মন্দির আসাহি পরম সুন্দর আসাহি পরম সুন্দর আসাহি পরম সুন্দর হে পরম বন্ধু গুরু নির্গুণ হে পরম বন্ধু গুরু নির্গুণ হইয়া সমসারে সাকার সগুণ হইয়া সবারে সাকার সগুণ আদরে মধুরে বরিବାକୁ মন আদরে মধুরে বরিବାକୁ মন নিরাজনা পদ কঞ্জর নিরাজনা পদ কঞ্জর আসাহি পরম সুন্দর আসাহি পরম সুন্দর আসাহি পরম সুন্দর মর ভুবনরে আসবতরি মর ভুবনরে আসবতরি অমর জ্যোতির বৈভব ধরি অমর জ্যোতির বৈভব ধরি লিভাই দিয়াই ভব জীবনরু লিভাই দিয়াই ভব জীবনরু মায়া ঘিরা ঘন অন্ধার মায়া ঘিরা ঘন অন্ধার আসাহি পরম সুন্দর আসাহি পরম সুন্দর আসাহি পরম সুন্দর তুমକୁ ଜନର ଅମଳ କରବି ତୁମକୁ ଜନର ଅମଳ କରବି ତୁମ ଭଜନର ବିରତି ପୁରବି ତୁମକୁ ଜନର ଅମଳ କରବି ତୁମ ଭଜନର বিরতি পুরবি চরণী অরপি পারি নাহি বলি চরণী অরপি পারি নাহি বলি চলা পথ মোর বন্ধুর চলা পথ মোর বন্ধুর আসাহি পরম সুন্দর আসাহি পরম সুন্দর আসাহি পরম সুন্দর ভাবরাই জর ভাবময় দেব ভাবরাই জর ভাবময় দেব মো জীবনিকা তুমি হি অভাব মো জীবনিকা তুমি হি অভাব ভাবরাই জর ভাবময় দেব ভাবরাই জর ভাবময় দেব মো জীবনিকা তুমি হি অভাব ମୋ ଜୀବନେ କା ତୁମେ ହିଁ ଅଭାବ, ତୁମ ଆଲୋକରେ ପରିପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ କରି, ତୁମ ଆଲୋକରେ ପରିପୂର୍ଣ୍ଣ କରି, ଭରି ଦିଅ ହୃଦ ଅନ୍ଦର, ଭରି ଦିଅ ହୃଦ ଅନ୍ଦର। ଆସ ହି ପରମ ସୁନ୍ଦର, ଆସ ହି ପରମ ସୁନ୍ଦର, ଆସ ହି ପରମ ସୁନ୍ଦର। ମଧୁ ସୌରଭେ ଆମୋଦିତ କରି, ମଧୁ ସୌରଭେ ଆମୋଦିତ କରି, ବିରହୀ ମରମ ମନ୍ଦିର, ବିରହୀ ମରମ ମନ୍ଦିର। ଆସ ହି ପରମ ସୁନ୍ଦର, ଆସ ହି ପରମ ସୁନ୍ଦର, ଆସ ହି ପରମ ସୁନ୍ଦର, ଆସ ହି ପରମ ସୁନ୍ଦର। ମଧୁ ସୌରଭେ ଆମୋଦିତ କରି, ମଧୁ ସୌରଭେ ଆମୋଦିତ କରି, ବିରହୀ
पीताम्बरी सार पादाजो तुमा मुनि जाला पांड्या तारा सीता समाचारो ताती ताती साधी सुबर्णानी खाया आशा पीतांबरी सारो आशा पीतांबरी सारो नीति कंकाना बाजी काला काला प्रेमे सोने देवी काना औरानी पूजा का जगाई खाला का आने मोबिना याना आने मोबिना याना सुंदरा माधुरा साथे तुमा रूपांतरा सारा मोरानी फुलाका जगाई फुलाका आने मोबिना याना आने मोबिना याना तू दीर्घा दिसाला तुमा भक्ता सारा तुझे रुद्राक्षरा माला जिला पविता संदेशो सोविता ब्रह्मे ब्राह्मणर बाला ब्रह्मे ब्राह्मणर बाला तू दीर्घा दिसाला तुमा भक्ता सारा तुझे रुद्राक्षरा माला जिला पविता संदेशो सोविता ब्रह्मे ब्रह्मांडर बाला ब्रह्मे ब्राह्मणर बाला नयन जुगारा प्रेमी झाला सारा बाचाराजी मी पारायणा पारायणी फुलाका जगाई फुलाका आने मोबिना याना आने मोबिना याना नयना जुगारा प्रेमी धारा धारा बाचाराजी मी पारायणा पारायणी फुलाका जगाई फुलाका आने मोबिना याना आने मोबिना याना की सुंदरा की माधुरा साथे तुमा रूपांतरा सारा पुराणी फुलाका जगाई फुलाका आने मोबिना याना आने मोबिना याना बंसी मातुलाता साजे ते कथा उसके माधुर्य কাঁদিতে কথা হতে মধুমাকরন্দ মুখ সুষমা নাহি উপমা তাতে পূর্ণিমার চন্দ তাতে পূর্ণিমার চন্দ আশিস পরায়ে মধুর বচনে তৃপ্ত দেহ মন প্রাণ পরাণে পুলক জগায়ে ছলক আনি মোবিল নয়ন আনি মোবিল নয়ন আশিস পরায়ে মধুর বচনে তৃপ্ত দেহ মন প্রাণ পরাণে পুলক জগায়ে ছলক আনি মোবিল নয়ন আনি মোবিল নয়ন কি সুন্দর কি মধুর সাথে তোমার রূপ দর্শন পরাণে পুলক জগায়ে ছলক আনি মোবিল নয়ন আনি মোবিল নয়ন যোগী মনের ধ্যান নেত্রে বসি দেখার দিজা রাতে লকুচি আজি তিরুপদর্শন এতে তাও ভজ সাথী এতে তাও ভজ সাথী যোগীর ধ্যান নেতে বসি দেখার দিজা রাতে লকুচি আজি তিরুপদর্শন তেরে তাও ভজ সাথী তেরে তাও ভজ সাথী এতে কৃপা মোকে করিছ ঠাকুর প্রাণ মৃত্যু মরণ পরাণে পুলক জগায়ে ছলক আনি মোবিল নয়ন আনি মোবিল নয়ন এতে কৃপা মোতে করিছ ঠাকুর প্রাণ মৃত্যু মরণ পরাণে পুলক জগায়ে ছলক আনি মোবিল নয়ন আনি মোবিল নয়ন কি সুন্দর কি মধুর সাথে তোমার রূপ দর্শন ଯାଇ ସଲାତ ପାଣି ମୋ ବିନା ନାନା ପାଣି ମୋ ବିନା ନାନା ପାଣି ମୋ ବିନା ନାନା। ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ।
जय गुरु। बनलता मा
भाई
आज्ञा परिचय कथा पड़ता
भाई किस समय एकदम तो चश्मा होता है वो गोटे गोटे दिखा नहीं की
अब मान राव का कोई पढ़िए पढ़े
भाई पढ़ो कहीं मोर आखि भल देखा जाऊनी।
ठीक अच्छे ठीक अच्छे हमार आसन मंदिर नाट्य मंदिर अच्छा कि आम शिवानी माँ कि
आज्ञा शिवानी माँ अच्छा
शिवानी मुझे घंटाए नाची कहीं फोन कहटा होगा मुझे जिते प्रकार चेष्टा कर शुणी नहीं पाई पारि।
ठीक अच्छे शिवानी माँ पढ़े शिवानी
शिवानी कहबी
नहीं माँ शिवानी द्विवेदी माँ पढ़ुं।
हाँ ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है माँ कह।
जय गुरु। सेविका स्वीकृति मु ठाकुर श्री श्री निगमानंद सरस्वती देवंकु एकमात्र गुरु एवं इष्ट रूपे वर्ण करियछि एवं तांका प्रदत्त जय गुरु सिद्ध मंत्र ग्रहण करी नीलाचल सारस्वत संघ पुरी निर्देश परिचालित होगा स्वीकृति प्रदान करुछि। परमहंस श्रीमत्स्वामी निगमानंद सरस्वती देवଙ୍କ बाणी बछ मु सद्गुरु मो भितर जगदगुरु इच्छा ही लीलायित हो उठी तुम मानक मुक्तिपथ प्रदर्शन कराइबा ही मोर कार्य जो माने मो उपरे निर्भर करी बसिछ मु सेमानकु हाथ धरी मुक्तिधाम को नहीं जीवे तुम ठाकुर सद्गुरु केवल एतिकी विश्वास थिबा आवश्यक। माँ मान प्रति श्री ठाकुर उपदेश माँ मातृत्व हृदय पूर्ण कर रमणीत सचेतना रुशिष्ट सुतरां जननीत व्यतीत श्री भगवान का पवित्र मूर्ति अन्न काहारी नयन गोचर हुए नहीं से सर्वत्र विद्यमान किंतु भक्तर उपयुक्त अवस्था न आसिया पर्यंत से सम्मुख को आसी दर्शन दान करते नहीं से संसार बन्ही भक्त को जड़ाई पड़े उपयुक्त करनियंती मु आशीर्वाद करुछि तुमे सेही मातृत्व प्रतिष्ठित हो एवं चिरदिन निमित्त सेही मातृसत्तारे विलीन हो जा तुमे माने मोर अंतरंग भक्त सुतरां तुमे माने संसार तापरे तापित होई अशांति मध्य थी भगत महिया प्रचार न कले आब किए स्वगण व्यतीत आउ कहीं जे परीक्षा दे पारिबे नहीं तेणु भगवान कवि मुखरे कहते परीक्षाए नय मम स्वगण कातर माँ ए संसार मायर खेलघर अज्ञानतार मोहिनी मूर्ति तेणु सुख जे बाहर नहीं अच्छी निज अंतर दे सुख भोगरे नहीं अच्छी केवल त्यागरे बा जोगरे बाह्य विषय संस्पर्श जो सुख ताहा आसक्ति पाप कलुषित मन द्वारा भगवान को स्वरूप उपलब्धि ही प्रकृत निर्मल पवित्र सुख तुम्हें मन प्राण पवित्र करी सच्चिदानंद श्री भगवान का नाम रूप चिंता कर और मुखरे तांकर जय उच्चारण कर जेते परिमाण चित्त शुद्ध भाव धारण कर सेते परिमाण तुम निर्मल सुख अनुभव कर बाहिक सुख करे किंबा लोकों कथा मन विचलित होगा नहीं और सांसारिक घात प्रतिघात अशांति भोग करिया पड़िबा नहीं यह व्यतीत शांति लाभर अन्य पंथा नहीं वर्षे पुत्र कन्या मानक भगवत ज्ञान सुख पाई सेमानकर जत्न निय गुरुजन मानकर अबाध्य हो नहीं यथासाध्य दिन दुखी मानक उपकार कर केबे हेले आचार लंघन कर नहीं माँ तुम्हें बाह्य विषय सुख आशा त्याग करी अंतरर अंतरतम प्रदेश में बुड़ी जाई मते खोजिले देखिब मु जगजनन को कोଳରେ धरी तुम हृदय पूर्ण करी बसी रही वर्षे सेतेबेले जाई तुमर समस्त भाव दूर हेब तुम्हें केवल भगवान को सर्वस्व समर्पण करी सर्वांतकरण तांकरी नाम उच्चारण करी जाओ वर्षे बाहर मोर दर्शन न पाइले मध्य मोर किछि मात्र क्षति होगा नहीं बाहिक विश्व मात्रे के माइक बोली जानिब तुम्हें मत अंतरे दर्शन करने अभ्यास कर ବାହ୍ୟ ଦେହ ଦ୍ୱାରା ବାହ୍ୟ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟ କରିବ ଓ ଅନ୍ତରରେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ଧରି ରଖିଥିବ। ମା, ମୁଁ ଦେହସ୍ଥ, ଏହା ବୋଲି ମୁଁ ତୁମର ହୃଦୟସ୍ଥ ବୋଲି ଚିନ୍ତା କର, ଦୂରତର ବ୍ୟବଧାନ ଉଠିଯିବ। ମା, ତୁମେ ସ୍ୱାମୀଙ୍କ ମଧ୍ୟରେ ମୋତେ ଦର୍ଶନ କରିବାକୁ ଅଭ୍ୟାସ କର। ମନେ କରିବ ତୁମର ସ୍ୱାମୀ ଜଗତ ସ୍ୱାମୀ ଏବଂ ସ୍ୱାମୀଙ୍କର ସ୍ୱାମୀତ୍ୱ ସେହି ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ସତ୍ତା ବ୍ୟତୀତ ଅନ୍ୟ କିଛି ନୁହେଁ। ଏତିକି ଭାବନାରେ ନାରୀ ଜନ୍ମ ସାର୍ଥକ ହୋଇଯିବ। ପ୍ରାଣରେ ଅଫୁରନ୍ତ ଆନନ୍ଦର ସ୍ରୋତ ପ୍ରବାହିତ ହେବ। ଆଶୀର୍ବାଦ କରୁଛି, ତୁମେ ସେହି ଭାବର ଅଧିକାରିଣୀ ହୁଅ। ସ୍ୱାମୀ ହିଁ ନାରୀମାନଙ୍କର ଗୁରୁ। କାୟ ମନ ବାକ୍ୟରେ ତାଙ୍କ ଆଦର୍ଶ ପାଳନ ଓ ତାଙ୍କରି ସେବା ହିଁ ନାରୀମାନଙ୍କର ପରମ ଧର୍ମ। ସ୍ୱାମୀଙ୍କୁ ଗୁରୁ ବ୍ରହ୍ମଜ୍ଞାନରେ ସୁଖ ପାଇ ଭଗବତ ନିର୍ଭରତା ରକ୍ଷା କରିପାରିଲେ ହିଁ ନାରୀ ଜନ୍ମ ସାର୍ଥକ ହେବ। ଗୃହିଣୀର ସ୍ୱାମୀ ସେବା ଓ ସନ୍ତାନ ପାଳନ ସ୍ୱଧର୍ମ। ତେଣୁ ନାରୀମାନଙ୍କର ସାଧନ ଭଜନର ସମୟ ଅଳ୍ପ। ସୁତରାଂ ସର୍ବଦା ଗୁରୁ ନାମ ଜପ କରିବାକୁ ଅଭ୍ୟାସ କରିବ। ସଧବା ନାରୀମାନେ ସ୍ୱାମୀଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ଭଗବାନଙ୍କୁ ଏବଂ ବିଧବା ନାରୀମାନେ ଭଗବାନଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ ସ୍ୱାମୀଙ୍କୁ ଚିନ୍ତା କରିବେ। ଅନ୍ୟଥା ଧର୍ମ ବା ଭଗବାନଙ୍କୁ ଛାଡ଼ି କେବଳ ସ୍ୱାମୀଙ୍କ ଚିନ୍ତା କଲେ ସେଥିରେ ବିନ୍ଦୁମାତ୍ର ଉନ୍ନତି ହେବ ନାହିଁ। ମା, ଏ ଜଗତରେ ରାଜାରାଣୀ ଠାରୁ ଭିକାରୁଣୀ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କର ସମାନ ଭାବ ରାଜ୍ୟରେ ଉପନୀତ ନ ହେବା ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ କାହାରି ଭାବ ଦୂର ହେବ ନାହିଁ। ମା, ତୁମେ ଜୀବଜଗତକୁ ସୁଖ ପାଇବାକୁ ଶିକ୍ଷା କର, ସକଳ ଅଭାବ ମେଣ୍ଟିଯିବ। ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ।
ଗୁରୁ ଶିବାନୀ ମହାନ୍ତି ମା।
ଜୟଗୁରୁ ଭାଇ ଶୁଣା ଯାଉଛି?
ଆଜ୍ଞା ମା, ଆଜ୍ଞା।
ମ୍ୟୁଟ୍ କରିଦେଇଛନ୍ତି। ଜୟଗୁରୁ।
ହଁ ମା, ଶୁଣା ଯାଉଛି?
ଶୁଣା ଯାଉଛି ମା?
ଆଜ୍ଞା, ଶୁଣା ଯାଉଛି।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା, ମତେ ମ୍ୟୁଟ୍ କରିଦେଇଥିଲେ।
जया विश्वकाति शिव कारुकाहे, जया विश्वकाति शिव कारुकाहे, परमानंद दाय चंद्र जो पाहे, परमानंद दाय चंद्र जो पाहे, जया संतदंत जगत ईश्वर, जया संतदंत जगत ईश्वर, जगति घिना मोर नाम तारा, जगति घिना मोर नाम तारा, जया सकाळ विबुध आश्रय हे, जया सकाळ विबुध आश्रय हे, जया ब्रह्म स्वरूप सदा हे, जया ब्रह्म स्वरूप सदा हे, सती प्राणाधिका प्रिया सती सुर, सती प्राणाधिका प्रिया भाति सोरा जगत्पति घिना मोरा नाम सारा जय पूजा नमाचा हृदय धारा जय पूजा नमाचा हृदय धारा जय स्वामी पंच प्राणाधीश्वर जय स्वामी पंच प्राणाधीश्वर जय नयन तारका ज्ञान धर जय नयन तारका ज्ञान धर जगत्पति घिना मोरा नाम सारा जय पत्नी आनंद प्रदायक जय पत्नी आनंद प्रदायक तुमी ब्रह्मा शिव लोकपालक तुमी ब्रह्मा शिव लोकपालक पति ब्रह्म स्वरूप निर्गुणाधार पति ब्रह्म स्वरूप निर्गुणाधार जगत्पति घिना दीना नाम सारा जगत्पति घिना दीना नाम सारा जय भुवन मोहन पूर्ण इंद्र जय भुवन मोहन पूर्ण इंद्र जय पत्नी प्राणाधिकताय सिंधु जय पत्नी प्राणाधिकताय सिंधु दासी सर्वदोषानाथ क्षमा कर दासी सर्वदोषानाथ क्षमा कर तव पद कंजी कोटि नमस्कार कंजी कोटि नमस्कार तव पद कंजी कोटि नमस्कार तव पद कंजी कोटि नमस्कार तव pada kanji koti namasara tava pada kanji koti namasara tava pada kanji koti namasara.
Jagru, Nikomopadesa, God's agony. It is, however, one side of dependence. There is also another aspect of dependence. You have probably known about great devotees Rupa and Sanatana. Once Rupa Goswami on the bank of river Brahmaputra was totally absorbed in the meditation of Sri Krishna. He had forgotten about his thirst and hunger. Lord was agonized by fasting of his devotee. He in guise of cowarded boy provided him food. The elder brother Sanatana Goswami heard it and expressed immediately his resentment over it and said, "Oh Rupa, why do you cause so much pain to Lord? He has given you necessary strength and limbs to collect food. Instead of using this, it is not good for a devotee to create anxiety in God for trivial things like food. By opinion, one has to follow either of the way. You recourse to a Papa to emancipate you from the torments of spiritual poverty. Depend on Him and become fearless. God gives His devout devotees diseases and sorrows chiefly because He, before taking someone to His lap, wipes out first all impurities and dust. Happening is accomplished by will of God. The desire of the saint is linked with the desire of God. Those who have separate desire belong to ordinary class. Therefore, don't trouble by happening taking place by God's desire. Keep depending on God. There occurs on deviation in God's beneficial spite of the contrary call of people of the entire world. Jai Guru.
जय गुरु भाई सुना जाऊे
जय गुरु भाई आज्ञा
मिनिट्स ऑफ द लास्ट मीटिंग जय गुरु नीलाचल सारस्वत संघ पुरी अमेरिका सारस्वत संघ 886 संघ पूजा सेशन रिपोर्ट डेट 10/29/2023 टाइम 7:15 AM to 8:45 AM Eastern Time first session 9:30 AM to 11:55 AM Eastern Time second session Arya Suhan in Chivandubara. Adhivas Puja was held in the Asana Mandira at 7:30 PM on 10/28/2023. Links to the attendance is available on the Sangha website. First session 7:50 AM to 8:45 AM Eastern Time. The morning session of the Puja started at 7:15 AM with Pratiksha songs Prana Bandhava He Chahi Rahiyachi and Sisira Jharae Sarata Prabhate respectively by Arpita Ma and Miloma. During this time, all Bhais and Ma's joined Puja session at NSM as well as via AMSA's teleconference. At 7:30 AM, Sanujit Bhai offered Arati to Sri Shiv Thakur. After Arati, Vrindavan Bhai sang Vandana and Stotra Vandana along with other Bhais and Ma's. Then Thakur Prasad Bhai read Sri Sri Guru Gita, verse 54. Braja Bhai led reading of Paricha Patra, Sammalani Pratham. Then Subrat Bhai read Sangha Sabaka series 55th year, second part, Bandana Prarthana, Prarthana Karinga Prati. Following that, Suvendu Bhai invited Sri Sri Thakura for Balya Bhoga and all Bhais, Mahas and young aspirants for Balya Prasad and to attend the second session of the Puja. The first session of Puja was concluded with Jayaguru Mahanama Kirtana. After the first session, Bhoga was offered to Sri Sri Thakura. Then Bhais, Mahas and young aspirants had Balya Prasad. Second session 9:30 AM to 11:55 AM Eastern Standard Time. The second session of the Puja started at 9:30 AM with Abahana song Priyatama He Akhira Adekha Moro by Suvendu Bhai, Aji Ananda Juare Mana Bhasire and Kete Gopana Asa Kete Gopana Bhasa by Devashish Bhai. Then all devotees sang Bhava Bandhana Mochana, followed by opening curtains of the Natamandira. Shivanima then sang Bandhana, Nandana Bana Parijatatu. Then Anup Bhai read Nigamapadesha to learn dependence from page number 235. Here we discuss that when God has taken your responsibility, then you should have no worries. So just go on and do your duty and always remember His name in all circumstances. Then Shetama read minutes of last Sangha Puja. Then Naresh Bhai led the discussion about importance of Bhakta for Thakura, discussed about Bhakti Re Siddhi. We discussed that Bhakti and Samarpana is the best way to get closer to Thakura compared to all other ways. Then Nihar Bhai sang Saraswata Sangha, Bhakati Vikari Jehunatha Tabat Charani. This was followed by the question and answer session with Naresh Bhai. The young aspirant session started with Prarthana song by Aishi. Then Dorada Bhai took the attendance of the young aspirants and led the discussion for young aspirant session. After the young aspirants discussion, Suhani and Subhendu Bhai shared their feelings towards Sri Sri Thakura through Bhava Vinimaya Seva. Then Subhendu Bhai invited Sri Sri Thakura Maharaj for Madhyana Bhoga and evening puja. Then Yukta, Aradhana Ma and Smitare Ma invited Sri Sri Thakura Ma's Bhais and young aspirants to the next Sangha Puja to be held on November 5, 2023. After that, Subhendu Bhai prayed for forgiveness for any mistakes in Seva during the Puja. The session was concluded with Bidaya Prarthana song by Jnana Bhai, followed by Jayaguru Namakirtana and Pranam, after which Asana was closed. Sujit Bhai took attendance of all Bhais Ma's present during the Puja. Then Bhoga was offered to Sri Sri Thakura, followed by Prasada Satnavai, all Bhais, Ma's and young aspirants. Sri Sri Thakura Sarnasrita, Suhani and Subhendu Bhai. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Panchakallasini.
You've been muted. To unmute yourself, press the star key twice. Mute off.
ବୃଦ୍ଧ ଦ୍ୱାରିକାନାଥଙ୍କ ହୃଦୟର ଭାବ ଅନୁକରଣରେ ଆମର ସାଧୁ ସ୍ୱର୍ଗତ ଗୁରୁଦାସ ଭାଇ ଯାହା ଲେଖିଛନ୍ତି ତାହା ଏଠାରେ ଉଦ୍ଧାର କରାଗଲା। ଗୁରୁ ନାମ ତୁମର ନିଛେ ଖୋଜି ବୁଲୁ ମନ ଘର ସଂସାର ଆସି କଳପ ତରୁର ମୂଳେ ବସତି କର ବରଷା ଶୀତ ଖରା ନକର ତୁ ପସରା ଶୀତରୁ ଛାଇ ତଳେ ବାଜିବ ନାହିଁ ତିଳେ ଭାବ ଭୟରେ ହୁଅ ନାହିଁ କାତର ପଶାୟ ବାସ ପିନ୍ଧି ଭକତି ଜଟା ବାନ୍ଧି ଭକତ ପଦ ଧୂଳି ଅଙ୍ଗରେ ହୁଅ ବୋଳି ନୟନ ମୋଦି ଗୁରୁ ନାମ ତୁମର ଗୋପୀଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ତୁ ଧରି ନାମ ଗାଅ ତାହାରି ଗୁଣ ଗୁଣ ତୁ ଗାଇ ନିରତେ ହୁଅ ବାଇ ନ ରହିବ ଅନ୍ତରେ ସମନ ଡର। ପୂର୍ବରୁ କୁହାଯାଇଛି ଯେ ସ୍ୱର୍ଗତ ହରିପ୍ରସାଦ ଚକ୍ରବର୍ତ୍ତୀ ସେ ସମୟରେ ଜଣେ ଯଶସ୍ୱୀ ପୁରୁଷ ଥିଲେ। କେବଳ ପୂର୍ବବଙ୍ଗରେ ନୁହେଁ ପଶ୍ଚିମବଙ୍ଗର ଶିକ୍ଷିତ ସମାଜରେ ସେ ଥିଲେ ଜଣେ କୀର୍ତ୍ତିମାନ ପୁରୁଷ। ଜଣେ ଦାନବୀର ଓ ଯଶସ୍ୱୀ ହିସାବରେ ହରିପ୍ରସାଦ ବାବୁ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କ ଠାରେ ପରିଚିତ ଥିଲେ। ରାଜଫୁଲବାଡିଆରେ ଅବତରଣ କରି ଜ୍ୟୋତିଷ ବାବୁ ନୃପେନ୍ଦ୍ର ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ରାୟଙ୍କ ନାମ ଧରି ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ କରିବା ସମୟରେ ସମସ୍ତେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ହରିପ୍ରସାଦ ବାବୁଙ୍କ ଜାମାତା ବୋଲି ପରିଚୟ ଦେଲେ। ସେଥିରେ ଜ୍ୟୋତିଷ ବାବୁଙ୍କ କୌତୂହଳ ବିଶେଷ ବୃଦ୍ଧି ପାଇଲା। ସେ ଭାବିଲେ ସେ ଯେଉଁ ସାଧୁଙ୍କ ଦର୍ଶନ ନିମିତ୍ତ ଆସିଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କର ଦେଶରେ ବିଶେଷ ସମ୍ମାନ ଅଛି। ନୃପେନ୍ଦ୍ର ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ରାୟ କୁଳଗୁରୁ ତ୍ୟାଗ ପୂର୍ବକ ସସ୍ତ୍ରୀକ ସେହି ସାଧୁଙ୍କ ନିକଟରୁ ଦୀକ୍ଷା ଗ୍ରହଣ କରିଛନ୍ତି। ଆଉ ସ୍ୱର୍ଗତ ହରିପ୍ରସାଦ ବାବୁଙ୍କ ପୁତ୍ର ପିୟୁଷ ବିଜୟ କୃଷ୍ଣ ଗୋସ୍ୱାମୀଙ୍କ ପୁତ୍ର ଯୋଗ ଜୀବନଙ୍କ ଶିଷ୍ୟ ହୋଇ ମଧ୍ୟ ପରମହଂସ ନିଗମାନନ୍ଦଙ୍କ ଆଶ୍ରିତ ହୋଇଛନ୍ତି। ପୁଣି ପ୍ରସିଦ୍ଧ ତନ୍ତ୍ର ସାଧକ ବ୍ରାହ୍ମଣ ସମାଜର ପ୍ରଣମ୍ୟ ଦ୍ୱାରିକାନାଥ ଭଟ୍ଟାଚାର୍ଯ୍ୟ ମଧ୍ୟ ଯୋଗୀ ଗୁରୁର ଲେଖକ ଶ୍ରୀ ନିଗମାନନ୍ଦ ଦେବଙ୍କୁ ଗୁରୁ ବରଣ କରିଛନ୍ତି। ଗ୍ରାମବାସୀଙ୍କ ଠାରୁ ଏହି ସବୁ କଥା ଶୁଣି ତାଙ୍କର ପରମହଂସ ଦେବଙ୍କୁ ଦର୍ଶନ କରିବାର କୌତୂହଳ ଜାଗିଲା। କୁସୁମ କୁମାରୀ ଭାଇଙ୍କର ମନୋଭାବ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ୟ କରୁଥାନ୍ତି ଓ ତାଙ୍କ ମନୋଭାବରେ କିଞ୍ଚିତ ପରିବର୍ତ୍ତନ ଲକ୍ଷ୍ୟ କରି ମନେ ମନେ ଆନନ୍ଦିତ ହେଉଥାନ୍ତି। 1316 ସାଲର ପୂଜା ଛୁଟି ମଧ୍ୟରେ ଯେଉଁ ଭକ୍ତମାନେ ରାଜଫୁଲବାଡିଆରେ ଉପସ୍ଥିତ ହୋଇ ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ଦର୍ଶନ କରିଥିଲେ ସେମାନଙ୍କ ମଧ୍ୟରେ ମୟମନସିଂହ ସହରର ସରକାରୀ ଡାକ୍ତର ରାଜଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ଧର, ମାଣିକଗଞ୍ଜର ପ୍ରସିଦ୍ଧ ଶିକ୍ଷକ କାମାକ୍ଷା ପ୍ରସନ୍ନ ରାୟଙ୍କ ନାମ ଉଲ୍ଲେଖଯୋଗ୍ୟ। ଏମାନଙ୍କ ବ୍ୟତୀତ ବୈଦ୍ୟନାଥ ପଳ, ଯୋଗେଶ୍ୱର ଗାଙ୍ଗୁଲି, ରାଜକୁମାର ଚକ୍ରବର୍ତ୍ତୀ, ରାଜେନ୍ଦ୍ର କୁମାର ଚୌଧୁରୀ ଓ ପ୍ରସିଦ୍ଧ ତାନ୍ତ୍ରିକ ସାଧକ ଅତୁଳ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ଭଟ୍ଟାଚାର୍ଯ୍ୟଙ୍କ ନାମ ମଧ୍ୟ ଉଲ୍ଲେଖଯୋଗ୍ୟ। ସେହି ସମୟରେ ଜୟଦେବପୁର ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍ର ନାଏବ ଯୋଗେନ୍ଦ୍ର ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ବନ୍ଦୋପାଧ୍ୟାୟ, ରାଜଫୁଲବାଡିଆର ନାଏବ ଉପେନ୍ଦ୍ର ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ବନ୍ଦୋପାଧ୍ୟାୟ, ବିଏ ଜମିଦାର ଶ୍ରୀନାଥ ବସୁଙ୍କ ନାଏବ ଚାରିମୋହନ ରାୟ ପ୍ରଭୃତି ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କର ପରମ ଭକ୍ତ ଥିଲେ। ଏହି ଭକ୍ତ ମାନଙ୍କ ନିତ୍ୟ ସମାବେଶରେ ରାଜଫୁଲବାଡିଆରେ ଯେପରି ଗୋଟିଏ ଆନନ୍ଦ ମେଳା ବସିଥିଲା। ସେତେବେଳେ ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ଦର୍ଶନ କରି ଯେଉଁମାନେ ରୂପ ଗୁଣରେ ମୁଗ୍ଧ ଥିଲେ ସେମାନଙ୍କ ମଧ୍ୟରେ ସ୍ୱର୍ଗତ ଯତୀନ୍ଦ୍ର ମୋହନ ବନ୍ଦୋପାଧ୍ୟାୟ ଅନ୍ୟତମ। ସେ ଯାହା ବର୍ଣ୍ଣନା କରିଛନ୍ତି, କି ରୂପ ହେରିଲା ମଧୁର ମୂରତି ପିରତି ରସେଇ ସାର ହେନ ଲୟ ମନେ ଏତିନି ଭୁବନେ ତୁଳନା ନାଇଁ କି ତାର। ଭାଇରେ ଦେଖିଲି ମୁଁ ଯା ବେନି ନୟନେ ଏହି ଅପରୂପ ସତେ ପରତେ ନ ଆସେ ମତେ ଉମାପତି ସଦାଶିବ ବିଜେକି ମରତେ। ହେରି ସେ ରୂପ ମାଧୁରୀ ମତେ ମୋ ଦେଉଛି ଘାରି ଗୋକୁଳ ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର କି ହୁଏ ମନେ କନକ ଚରଣ ବରଣ ଅଙ୍ଗ ତେଜେ କିବା ମାରତଣ୍ଡ ଅଙ୍ଗ କାନ୍ତି ଦେଖି ହୁଏ ମନେ। ଭାଷେ କି ମଧୁର ଭାଷ ପୁରୀ ଯାଏ ମନ ଆସ ରହନ୍ତି କି ସଦା ସନ୍ନିଧାନେ ଶାସ୍ତ୍ର ପୁରାଣ ପ୍ରଣେତା ବେଦବ୍ୟାସ କହେ କଥା ଏହା ମୋର ଜାଗେ ସଦା ମନେ। ଜ୍ୟୋତିଷ ବାବୁ ଉମାଚରଣ ସରକାରଙ୍କ ଠାରୁ ପରମହଂସ ଦେବଙ୍କ ବିଷୟରେ ବିଶେଷ ବିବରଣ ଶ୍ରବଣ କଲେ। ଏବେ ଜାଣିଲେ ଯେ ଉମାଚରଣ ବାବୁ ଚାକିରି ତ୍ୟାଗ କରି ଗୁରୁଦେବଙ୍କ ପାଦପଦ୍ମରେ ସସ୍ତ୍ରୀକ ଆଶ୍ରୟ ଗ୍ରହଣ କରିଛନ୍ତି। ତାଙ୍କ ସ୍ତ୍ରୀ ଯୋଗମାୟା ଦେବୀ ଦୁର୍ଗାପୁର ଆଶ୍ରମର ଦାୟିତ୍ୱ ଗ୍ରହଣ କରିଛନ୍ତି। ସ୍ୱାମୀ ସ୍ତ୍ରୀ ଉଭୟ ମିଳି ଗୁରୁ ସେବାକୁ ଜୀବନର ବ୍ରତ ରୂପେ ଧରି ନେଇ ସେମାନଙ୍କ ସେବାରେ ନିଯୁକ୍ତ ଅଛନ୍ତି। ସର୍ବଦା ଜଳସ୍ରୋତ ପରି ଲୋକମାନେ ସାଧୁ ଦର୍ଶନ ଇଚ୍ଛାରେ ଦୁର୍ଗାପୁର ଆସିଥାନ୍ତି। ସେତେବେଳେ ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁର ଦୁରାରୋଗ୍ୟ ସ୍ଥୂଳ ରୋଗ ଆରୋଗ୍ୟ କରୁଥାନ୍ତି। ଯେତେବେଳେ ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁର ସ୍ଥୂଳ ରୋଗ ଆରୋଗ୍ୟ କରିବାକୁ ଆରମ୍ଭ କଲେ ସେତେବେଳେ ଏତେ ରୋଗୀ ହେଲେ ଯେ ଆଶ୍ରମରେ ରହିବା ସମ୍ଭବ ହେଲା ନାହିଁ। ବହୁ ଦୂରାନ୍ତରୁ ରୋଗୀମାନେ ଆସି ଆଶ୍ରମରେ ଉପସ୍ଥିତ ହେଉଥିଲେ। ସେମାନଙ୍କ ମଧ୍ୟରୁ ଚର୍ଚ୍ଚା ଗ୍ରାମର ସୁପ୍ରସିଦ୍ଧ ଧନୀ ଲକ୍ଷପତି ସ୍ୱର୍ଗତ ସୁରେନ୍ଦ୍ରନାଥ ଚୌଧୁରୀଙ୍କ ମା ଅନ୍ୟତମ। ତ୍ରିପୁରା ମହାରାଜା ତାଙ୍କର ରାଣୀଙ୍କର ଦୁରାରୋଗ୍ୟ ସ୍ଥୂଳ ବେଦନା ନିରାମୟ ନିମିତ୍ତ ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ନିଜ ପ୍ରାସାଦକୁ ନେଇ ରୋଗ ଆରୋଗ୍ୟ କରାଇଥିଲେ। ସେହି ରାଣୀଙ୍କୁ ଆଖିରେ ନ ଦେଖି ମଧ୍ୟ ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁର କେତେକ କ୍ରିୟା କରି ତାଙ୍କୁ ରୋଗମୁକ୍ତ କରିଥିଲେ। ଅବଶେଷରେ ଯୋଗୀରାଜ ସୁମେରୁ ଦାସ ମହାରାଜ ସୂକ୍ଷ୍ମ ଭାବରେ ଦର୍ଶନ ଦାନ ପୂର୍ବକ ନିଷେଧ କରିବାରୁ ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁର ସ୍ଥୂଳ ରୋଗ ଆରୋଗ୍ୟ ବନ୍ଦ କରିଦେଲେ। ସାଧୁ ମହାପୁରୁଷଙ୍କୁ ଦର୍ଶନ ଓ ଚତୁର୍ଦିଗରୁ ତାଙ୍କର ମହିମା ଶ୍ରବଣ କରି ଜ୍ୟୋତିଷ ବାବୁ ଆଶ୍ଚର୍ଯ୍ୟାନ୍ୱିତ ହେଲେ। ସେ ଦେଖିଲେ ସେହି ତରୁଣ ସାଧୁଙ୍କ ନିକଟରୁ ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଉପଦେଶ ଶ୍ରବଣ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନଙ୍କ ମଧ୍ୟରୁ ଅଧିକାଂଶ ଉଚ୍ଚ ସ୍ତରର ସମ୍ମାନୀୟ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି। ଉଚ୍ଚ ପଦସ୍ଥ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ମାନଙ୍କର ଭାବ ଦର୍ଶନ କରି ଜ୍ୟୋତିଷ ବାବୁଙ୍କ ମନ ବିଚଳିତ ହେଲା। ସେ ସାଧୁଙ୍କର ଯେଉଁ ମହିମା ଶୁଣିଲେ ସେଥିରୁ ସେ ବୁଝିଲେ ଏପରି ଘଟଣା ସମ୍ଭବ। ଡାକ୍ତର ନୃପେନ୍ଦ୍ର ଚନ୍ଦ୍ର ରାୟ ଜଣେ ସେବକ ପରି ଯୁକ୍ତକରରେ ଗୁରୁଦେବଙ୍କ ଆଦେଶ ପାଳନ କରୁଛନ୍ତି। ଆଉ ଭକ୍ତ ମାନଙ୍କ ଠାରୁ ଯାହା ସବୁ ଅନୁଭୂତି ଶୁଣିଲେ ତାହାର ଶତାଂଶରୁ ଅଂଶେ ଯଦି ସତ୍ୟ ହୁଏ ତେବେ ତ ଶ୍ରୀ ନିଗମାନନ୍ଦ ଦେବ ଜଣେ ଅସାମାନ୍ୟ ପୁରୁଷ, ଏଥିରେ ସଂଶୟ ନାହିଁ। ଏହା ଭାବି ଭାଇ ଭଉଣୀ ଉଭୟ ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କ ଦର୍ଶନ କରି ଗୃହକୁ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟାବର୍ତ୍ତନ କଲେ।
ରଖିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ, ଆଜି ଡେରି ହେଇଗଲାଣି ଟିକେ, ରଖିଦିଅନ୍ତୁ।
ଜୟଗୁରୁ। ଆଖିର ଲୁହାରେ ସଂକଟି କହିମୋ ତୁମ ପାଇଁ ଝରୁଥିବା। ଆଖିର ଲୁହାରେ ସଂକଟି କହିମୋ ତୁମ ପାଇଁ ଝରୁଥିବା। ତୁମ ପାଦ ଧୋଇ ଧୋଇବା ପାଇଁ, ତୁମ ପାଦ ଧୋଇ ଧୋଇବା ପାଇଁ ଗଙ୍ଗା ହୋଇ ବହୁଥିବ, ଗଙ୍ଗା ହୋଇ ବହୁଥିବ। ଆଖିର ଲୁହାରେ ସଂକଟି କହିମୋ ତୁମ ପାଇଁ ଝରୁଥିବ, ତୁମ ପାଇଁ ଝରୁଥିବ। ସବୁ ବୁଝ ବୋଲି ତୁମକୁ ଠାକୁର କହୁଛି ବୁଝ କଥା। ସବୁ ବୁଝ ବୋଲି ତୁମକୁ ଠାକୁର କହୁଛି ବୁଝ କଥା। ଦୁନିଆରେ କା ତୁମେ ପ୍ରିୟ ମୋର, ଆଉ ସବୁ ଖାଲି ତୁଚ୍ଛ। ଦୁନିଆରେ କା ତୁମେ ପ୍ରିୟ ମୋର, ଆଉ ସବୁ ଖାଲି ତୁଚ୍ଛ। ଅସହାୟ ବୋଲି ଶରଣ ପଶୁଛି, ଅସହାୟ ବୋଲି ଶରଣ ପଶୁଛି, ଅସହାୟ ବୋଲି ଶରଣ ପଶୁଛି। ପର ବୋଲି ନ ଭାବିବ, ପର ବୋଲି ନ ଭାବିବ। ଆଖିର ଲୁହରେ ସଂକଟି କହିମୋ ତୁମ ପାଇଁ ଝରୁଥିବ, ତୁମ ପାଇଁ ଝରୁଥିବ। ଜୀବନ ଦେଇଛ, ମରଣ ଦେଇଛ, ସଂସାରେ ପଠାଇଛେ। ଜୀବନ ଦେଇଛ, ମରଣ ଦେଇଛ, ସଂସାରେ ପଠାଇ ମତେ। ଜୀବନ ମରଣ ମଝିରେ ରଖିଛ, କର অরুণ সুন্দর অভয় দিয়া হে অরুণ সুন্দর অভয় দিয়া হে অরুণ সুন্দর জঞ্জাল দূরে জীব জঞ্জাল দূরে জীব আখির লুহরে সকতি কহিম তুম পাই ঝরুথিব তুম পাই ঝরুথিব পরখিব যদি কসটি পথরে হারি জীবি কাঠরে পরখিব যদি কসটি পথরে হারি জীবি কাঠরে এতিকি অলিম হে প্রাণ ঠাকুর ন জীব ধারু দূরে এতিকি অলিম হে প্রাণ ঠাকুর ন জীব ধারু দূরে মরণ কালরে মধু চাহাড়ির মরণ কালরে মধু চাহাড়ির মরণ কালরে মধু চাহাড়ির পরশনি জয় দেব পরশনি জয় দেব আখির লুহরে সকতি কহিম তুম পাই ঝরুথিব তুম পাদ দুই ধইবা পাই তুম পাদ দুই ধইবা পাই গঙ্গা হই বহুথিব গঙ্গা হই বহুথিব আখির লুহরে সকতি কহিম তুম পাই ঝরুথিব তুম পাই ঝরুথিব তুম পাই ঝরুথিব। জয় দেব।
जय गुरु मोनालिसा मा। मोनालिसा मा ओके पढ़ी पारे टे माँ मैंने किए अच्छा
भाई जय गुरु पढ़ी देवी।
हाँ माँ पढ़ दिया डेरी हो बहुत।
जय गुरु संसार पथे Part 1 Chapter 35 Why are householders engulfed in Maya? We can learn about Suratha from reading the Chandi section of the Markanda epic, which explains how the great elusive power of the universe, Mahamaya, has kept it spellbound with her illusion or Maya. There was a king named Suratha. After ruling the kingdom for some time, it was attacked by the indigenous people, Jabana. As destined, he lost despite being a very powerful ruler. The ministers of the king colluded with the attackers to take away all his wealth and army. After this event, King Suratha fled to the forest. However, in spite of being in the forest, his mind was not calm. The king was mentally distressed and worn out as he was missing the same near and dear ones and courtiers who put him in danger and abandoned him in the first place. One day the king met a grief-stricken businessman and asked him about the cause of his grief. The businessman answered, "I'm a businessman named Samadhi. I am wandering in the forest after my wife and children drove me out of my house for their greed of my wealth and also being rejected by my so-called well-wisher friends. I am grief-stricken as I am unable to get any information about the well-being of my wife and children." The king asked, "Your family drove you out, but why are you still lamenting about them?" He replied, "I understand all that. However, my mind has no hard feelings towards them. My heart is full of love and affection for them, even though I remember all their misdeeds. I do not understand the reason for this. What can I do further? No way does my mind have less affection for them." Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. तो रिमेनिंग 4 or 5 minutes टिके डिस्कशन करिबा आज संघ सेवक रे जहा पढा होतला लॉट ऑफ गुड थिंग्स वी कवर्ड टुडे कहउचंती गुरु भगवान भक्तर हृदय आसन को बेसी भल पाती तांकु धन रत्न खचित आसन देले तांकर आनंद नुहे भक्त जे तार हृदय आसन तांकु देला सेते भारी खुशी होंती तेणु तापर प्रार्थना कथा कहै जे प्रार्थनार बल केमती निर्गुण ब्रह्म सगुण हमें आउ भक्त को देखा दिखती प्रार्थना द्वारा आत्म साक्षात्कार हुए इत्यादि इत्यादि तापर जोड़े जिनस कहते गोटे है चित्तर 5टी अवस्था मनर अवस्था अनेक समय मन चित्त को इंटरचेंजेबली यूज करा जाए मूढ़ क्षिप्त विक्षिप्त एकाग्र आ निरुद्ध मूढ़टा है तमगुण अवस्था जो थे कि इनर्ट होगी थाए कि काम दाम करने आलस्य जड़ता गुड़ाक थाए क्षिप्त विक्षिप्त हूँ रजगुणी अवस्था मनटा सब चंचल थाए संसार कूलित तापर जीवे एकाग्र जोटा कि सत्वगुणी अवस्था विश्वास आसी जाए तापर निरुद्ध हूँ गुणातीत अवस्था ये 4टी अवस्था विषय किछिटा आलोचना है आहरी भल भाव डिस्कसन कर समय पाइले पढ़ीदेवे आउ गोटे जिनस आरंभ कले जे अधम अधिकारी जो मैंने अच्छा भक्तिर अधम अधिकारी से श्रवण मनन निधिध्यासन 3टा जाक करिया पड़ो मध्यम अधिकारी कहते श्रवण मनन खाली श्रवण खाली आम ये बसिकी शुणीदे हेनी आम ये बसीचे मनटा जाइकरी इंडिया क्रिकेट स्कोर के भितर अच्छी आई नो सम ऑफ द भाई आर फॉलोइंग इट प्रीटी क्लोजली देन सेटा श्रवण हो पारनी ज्ञानी गुरु ठाकुर श्रवण मन निधिध्यासन श्रवण को कहते षडविध लिंग द्वारा अद्वितीय वस्तु अर्थात ब्रह्म गुरु ब्रह्म समस्त वेदांतर तात्पर्य अवधारण करने ना हूँ श्रवण षडविध लिंग 6टा पॉइंट देते उपक्रम उपसंहार अभ्यास अपूर्वता फल अर्थवाद प्रतिपत्ति उपपत्ति इत्यादि तार बेसिकली 6टा पढ़े तार हूँ आप जाना दरकार आप क्या कथा शुणुंट शुणिले कौन हम तार प्रथम उपक्रम कौन उपसंहार कौन से अभ्यास जो जहाँ कथा शुणुंट कथा बारंबार शुणा बारंबार 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 शुणा ताल मन से रही इत्यादि तेणु श्रवणटा भारी इंपोर्टाट श्रवणटा यदि ठीक न हो मनन इत्यादि काम किसी हो पारनी मननटा कहते वेदांत अविरोध जुक्ति द्वारा सर्वदा श्रुति अद्वितीय ब्रह्मचिंतन नाम मनन ये मननटा को भल भाव बुझे एक्चुअली ब्रह्मकर निरंतर चिंतनटा हूँ मनन जगत ब्रह्म ठारू पृथक नुहे ये जगतर डेफिनेशन देते सत असत कहीं माया जगत है माया द्वारा आवृत ब्रह्मकर पुरुषटा जगत भाव से एक्सप्रेस कर तेणु सी सत नुहति कि असत नुहति मैंने सत असत 2टा आग एका समय सेटा केमी डिस्कसन कर जस्ट हैव 1 minute तेणु गोटे जिनस आई वांट टू ब्रिंग अप ଏଠି କେତେଗୁଡେ ଜିନିଷ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି 4-5ଟା ନିୟମ ପାଳନ କଲେ ତାହେଲେ ମନନର ସୁବିଧା ହବ। ଯୋଉ ଯାହା ସବୁ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ତାକୁ ଯଦି ଆପ୍ଲାଏ କରିବେ ସେ କଣ ହବ କି ଚିତ୍ତଟା ଧୀରେ ଧୀରେ ଶୁଦ୍ଧ ହେଇଗଲେ ମନନରେ ମନଟା ଲାଗିବ। ନମ୍ବର 1 କଥା, ଆଉ କିଛି ନାହିଁ। ଚିତ୍ତଟା ଯଦି ଶୁଦ୍ଧ ହେଇନି ତାହେଲେ ମନଟା ମନନରେ ଲାଗିବ ନାହିଁ, ନିରନ୍ତର ଚିନ୍ତନଟା ହବ ନାହିଁ। ତେଣୁ ଆମର ପ୍ରଥମ ହେଲା ଚିତ୍ତଶୁଦ୍ଧି। ଚିତ୍ତଶୁଦ୍ଧିଟା ହେଇଗଲେ କଣ ହୁଏ କି ବିଶ୍ୱାସଟା ଆସିଯାଏ, ସତ୍ୱଗୁଣରେ ମନଟା ପ୍ରତିଷ୍ଠିତ ହେଇଯାଏ। ଆମେ ଯୋଉ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ତମ ଗୁଣ ରଜଗୁଣ ସତ୍ୱଗୁଣ, ତମରୁ ରଜକୁ ଆସିବ, ରଜରୁ ସତ୍ୱକୁ ଯିବ, ସତ୍ୱରୁ ଗୁଣାତୀତ ଅବସ୍ଥାକୁ ଯିବ। ତମଗୁଣୀ ହେଲେ ଆଳସ୍ୟ ଜଡତା, ରଜଗୁଣୀ ହେଲେ ସଂଶୟୀ, ଆଉ ସତ୍ୱଗୁଣୀ ହେଲେ ବିଶ୍ୱାସୀ। ତେଣୁ ବିଶ୍ୱାସଟା ଆସିବା ପାଇଁ ସତ୍ୱଗୁଣରେ ପ୍ରତିଷ୍ଠା ହେବାକୁ ପଡିବ। ସତ୍ୱଗୁଣରେ ପ୍ରତିଷ୍ଠା ହେବା ପାଇଁ ଚିତ୍ତଶୁଦ୍ଧି ଦରକାର। ଚିତ୍ତଶୁଦ୍ଧି ହେଇଗଲେ ବିଶ୍ୱାସ ଆସିଯିବ। ତେଣୁ ଏଇ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଗୁଡାକ ଲାଗି ମିଶି ମାସିକିରି ଅଛନ୍ତି। ଏଠି 5ଟା ଜିନିଷ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି, ଯଥା ସକାଳ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟାରେ ଧ୍ୟାନ ଧାରଣା, ସ୍ତୋତ୍ରବନ୍ଦନା ସ୍ୱାଧ୍ୟାୟ, ସାତ୍ୱିକ ଆହାର, ସାତ୍ୱିକ ଚିନ୍ତା, ନିୟମିତ ସଂଘରେ ଯୋଗଦାନ, କାହାରି ପ୍ରତି ବିଦ୍ୱେଷ ଭାବ ପୋଷଣ ନ କରିବା। କାହାରି ପ୍ରତି ବିଦ୍ୱେଷ ଉପରେ ଆମେ ଡିସ୍କସନ କରିଥିଲେ another day, so ତାକୁ ଆଉ ସେପଟୁ ଯିବା ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ, ଆମର ଟାଇମ ବି ହେଇଯାଇଛି। କଥା ହଉଛି ବଟମ ଲାଇନ ହେଲା ଆମେ ଯେତେ ଆମର ଚିତ୍ତଟା ଶୁଦ୍ଧ ହେଇକା ଯିବ, ମନଟା ସେତେ ଏକାଗ୍ର ଅବସ୍ଥାକୁ ଆସିଯିବ, ବା ସତ୍ୱଗୁଣରେ ପ୍ରତିଷ୍ଠିତ ହେଇଯିବ। ସତ୍ୱଗୁଣରେ ପ୍ରତିଷ୍ଠିତ ହେଇଗଲେ ବିଶ୍ୱାସଟା ଆସିଯିବ। ବିଶ୍ୱାସ ଆସିଗଲେ ତାଙ୍କ ଉପରେ ବିଶ୍ୱାସ ହେଲେ ସେ ତ କହିଛନ୍ତି ଆମକୁ ମୁକ୍ତିଧାମକୁ ହାତ ଧରିକି ନେଇଯିବେ, ଆଉ ତାର କିଛି କରିବା ଦରକାର ନାହିଁ। ଏଇଠି ରହିବା, ଆଉ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଆନ୍ସର ପାଇଁ ଆଜି ଟାଇମ ହେଲାନି, ସୋ ମେ ବି ସମ୍ ଅଦର ଟାଇମ। Anik, you have young aspirant ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା ସଙ୍ଗୀତ, when you are ready, Anik. ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ।
ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ।
ଚରଣ ତୁମର ସରଗୁବଳି କେଉଁ ସରଗ ମାଗିବି ଆଉ, କେଉଁ ସରଗ ମାଗିବି ଆଉ, ଅନ୍ୟ କିଛି ପୁଣ୍ୟ ଦିଆ କି ନ ଦିଆ, ଶ୍ରୀପଦ ପରଶ ପାଉ, କେଉଁ ସରଗ ମାଗିବି ଆଉ, ଚରଣ ତୁମର ସରଗୁବଳି କେଉଁ ସରଗ ମାଗିବି ଆଉ, ତୁମେ ସତ୍ୟ ଶିବ ଚିର ସୁନ୍ଦର, ତିନି ଭୁବନର ରତନ ସାର, ମୁଁ ତୁମର ପ୍ରିୟ ଅମୃତ ସନ୍ତାନ, ଏତିକି ବିଶ୍ୱାସ ମନରେ ଥାଉ, କେଉଁ ସରଗ ମାଗିବି ଆଉ, ଚରଣ ତୁମର ସରଗୁବଳି କେଉଁ ସରଗ ମାଗିବି ଆଉ, ଜଗତକୁ ଦେଲ ଅମୂଲ୍ୟଦାନ, ତୁମ ଜ୍ଞାନ ପ୍ରେମ ଧନି କାଞ୍ଚନ, ବୁଢ଼ା ଜନ ଥାରୁ ଆହୁରି ମୁଢ଼ାରୁ, ଅନ୍ତରେ କିଛି କରୁଣା ହେଉ, କେଉଁ ସରଗ
शरण तुम्हारा सर्वबली Duni dele tume karuna muthe sukila marure kamuna suthe se karuna to koti kaivalya Malagi jau keu saragamu magi diau sarana tumara saragu bali keu saragamu magi diau keu saragamu magi diau anya kichi punya dia kina dia sira siri bado barasa bau keu saragamu magi diau keu saragamu magi diau. Jai Guru, young aspirants. This is Shreya, and I'll be conducting our YA session today. I hope everyone is doing well and looking forward to it. I will start first by taking attendance, and then I'll ask Anhik to share the meaning of the song he just sang. But while we do that, please go ahead and have today's reading material ready in front of you. I'll ask one of you to read the story for us today. With that, I will start our attendance. Aditi?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Adyasa?
Ma Adyasa Jai Guru. Ma Adyasa join करनी.
Agyama Jai Guru. Aishi?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Anhik?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Ansh?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Anshul? Arnav?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Arun? Arush?
Jai Guru, मैं आरु शरण ज्वाइन करना थी.
Agyama Jai Guru. Aryan?
जय गुरु.
Jai Guru. Ashrita?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Jamu?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Divyam?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Timmy?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Eva? Jagrat?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Naitik?
जय गुरु माँ.
Jai Guru. Pratyusha?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Pratyush?
जय गुरु माँ.
Jai Guru. Sanvi?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Saraswat? Sarthak? Bobby?
जय गुरु.
Oh, Jai Guru. Shilpi? Shreyasi?
Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Jimmy? Simran?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Shrija?
Jai Guru Ma.
Jai Guru. Suhani? Yukta?
Jai ma'am.
Jai Guru. Oh, Agyama, Jai Guru. Is there anyone else I missed? Okay. That concludes our attendance. With that, Anya, please go ahead and share the meaning of the song you sang.
Jai Guru. The song basically means that Thakura's lotus feet is more than heaven to us. It doesn't matter if we don't get anything from him. All that we need to do is to serve him and to try to have devotion to him. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru Anhik, thank you for sharing. I think you spoke a little bit about contentment, and the spirit of what you're saying is we don't need anything else but the opportunity to be at Thakura's lotus feet and serve him. And I really love that because it connects directly with what we were going to be discussing today. So thank you again, Anhik. So for today's discussion, I thought we could learn from each other about gratitude and contentment as we're heading into the end of the year and approaching the holiday season, during which expressing thankfulness is often a very, very important part of our traditions and celebrations. And both of those things, contentment and gratitude, are something we often hear about not only in Thakura's teachings, but also in our day-to-day lives. One of the first ways we come to learn about gratitude is when our parents or teachers teach us manners when we're little. When someone helps you or gives you something, you're taught to say thank you, regardless of whether we understand that saying thank you is a way that we practice gratitude. We might continue saying it as we grow older until we start to hear just how meaningful it can be. So people say that gratitude and contentment can be life-changing. Some even say it's the key to happiness. So let's spend our time today understanding why both of those things are so important. But first, let's hear from each other. What do we think gratitude and being content means? I'll start with Simran. Simran, can you tell us what you think gratitude means?
Grandma, I think gratitude means like you're showing thanks.
Jai Guru, yes, exactly. And then Shrija, can you add to that about, okay, we learned what gratitude means. What about contentment? What do you think being content means?
Grandma, I think it means like being nice to someone and like having it for a very long time,
Jai Guru. Yeah, I'm hearing a sense of satisfaction in the way that we're interacting with others who are being nice to them because we ourselves are satisfied with what we have. How about Aishi? What does gratitude mean to you?
Jai Guru, gratitude means like having the appreciation for things that you have already and not wanting something more that you don't have. And like I think that's gratitude.
Jai Guru, thank you, Aishi. Yeah, absolutely. And Aishi, one more question. Is it hard to practice gratitude, do you think? Or is it easy?
Sometimes I think that jealousy and ego get in our way of our gratitude. And so sometimes it can be hard, but other times when you learn to appreciate it, which takes a lot of time, then it gets a little bit easier. Jai
Guru, I appreciate you explaining that. Yeah, absolutely. For some people, it might be easy. For some, it may be hard. And even for those people that it's easy for, there are seasons with which, just like you mentioned, Aishi, other feelings like being jealous or your ego kind of get in the way, so it's hard for you to appreciate what you do have. So yeah, we're learning a lot. So there are many ways to think of gratitude and contentment. Having gratitude as an expression of thankfulness, like you all said, for what you have, which makes you appreciate the love, the beauty, the abundance in your world. And then there's contentment, on the other hand, which is like a state of satisfaction with what you have, not quite desiring much more. Some people like to think of gratitude as what leads to contentment, because once you allow yourself to be thankful, you can then begin to feel satisfied. And once you become more satisfied, you feel like you have less and less worldly desires. So today we'll read a story from the Gorpa Sanchen called The King and the Peon to continue learning about this topic. I'm curious, Pratyusha, would you like to read for us today?
Sure. Very good. The King and the Peon. A peon, while on his way to somewhere, felt very hungry and thirsty. So he sat down under the shade of a tree and ate some burnt bread which he carried with him. At that time, the king was going somewhere in his palanquin. Through that way, at a distance where the peon was sitting, the people carrying the king put the palanquin down under the tree. Immediately, some of the king's attendants started fanning him, while others began to give him a massage. Some offered him various tasty drinks to the king, while some brought many delicious foods to him. Seeing all the fabulous service the king was receiving, the peon whined, "Oh God, I have worked as a peon my entire life, and it has taken great difficulty just to make ends meet. Being exhausted in this hot weather, I gobbled up some burnt bread and still could not fill my stomach. But this king here is being fed so much delicious food and getting so much care. Oh God, what sort of noble act has this king performed in order to be able to get such happiness? What kind of blunder have I made to suffer so much?" Hearing the whining of the peon, the king came to him and said, "Why don't you exchange my condition with that of yours?" Surprised at these words of the king, the peon replied, "What? You are the king, and I am a mere peon. You want to exchange my condition with that of yours?" The king responded, "You don't believe me? I am telling the truth. I am willing to exchange your situation with that of mine." The king removed his dress and said, "See, this is my condition. I am crippled. I cannot walk. I am dependent on others. If I have to go anywhere, I need to be carried by people. Now think whether your situation is better than mine. You can go freely anywhere you want. You don't have to rely on others. You're also a strong and healthy person. Do you understand my situation now? One should not blame God. He keeps everyone in a condition that is good for him or her. One should regard that condition as satisfying and thank God for the same." Jai Guru.
Jai Guru, Pratyusha, thank you for reading. Okay, so with that, let's talk about what we heard. So when the peon first saw the king being carried and then being fanned under the heat and then being fed really good food, how did he feel? Yukta, when he saw this really great treatment of the king, how did he feel?
Jai Guru, I think he felt jealous as he saw the king was being treated so lavishly while he isn't able to get these types of treatments. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru, yes, absolutely. He felt jealous, which we touched on a few minutes ago. Have you ever compared what you have with what someone else has? Let's hear from Ansh. When you see what someone else has, have you ever felt the need to compare? And it's totally fine to say no too.
Jai Guru, well, I do think that, like, sometimes I don't try and compare, like, my material things, but sometimes I can get jealous of other people, like, their accomplishments, stuff like that. Jai Guru?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ansh, thank you for sharing. And Ansh, also, in those moments, how did the comparing make you feel?
Jai Guru, it really just didn't really help my self-esteem, and it just made me feel bad about myself and feel less about myself. Jai Guru?
Jai Guru, I appreciate you sharing, Ansh. Yeah, I think we've all been in that place, myself included, where it's easy to compare what you have or don't have, both materialistically, but also beyond that too. And so in those moments of jealousy, yeah, it's easy to feel bad. Sometimes it makes you desire what you like, what they have, and wonder why you couldn't have that, and then it just turns into a spiral. When the king saw the peon whining, what did he do? Pratyush, when the king saw the peon whining, what did he do?
Jai Guru, when the king saw the peon whining, he offered to exchange his condition.
Yes, exactly. And in the very end of the story, there are two things that the king told the peon to do. Shrija, can you remind us, at the very end of the story, the king reminded something to the peon. Do you remember what those were?
Jacob, the words are, one should not blame God because he keeps everyone in the condition that's good for him or her. Jacob.
Yes, exactly. The king told the peon to be satisfied with his condition and thank God for it, which is really, really important. And we've been talking a lot about how it can be hard to get to that state of total satisfaction. But one thing we can do, which is what the king mentioned here, is until we get to that point, we can definitely make it a practice to thank God continuously for what we have. So I know the king suggested the peon to do this, but what do you all do when you feel jealous or when you want something that you don't have? Anik, what do you do when you feel jealous?
Jogu, I think although sometimes it may down my self-esteem, I try to think about the things that I already have, and I try to be to have gratitude and be content with my current situation. Jogu.
Yes, absolutely. I'm hearing that it takes a lot of intention to get out of that feeling and realize that you have low self-esteem and help yourself get to a better state. Aditi, what do you do when you don't feel satisfied?
Jargu, when I don't feel satisfied, I already think about the things that I'm blessed with, like my family and my house, and that makes me feel better. Jargu.
Yeah, I really like that. The practice of reminding yourself of what you do have, and sometimes that gives you really helpful perspective. Absolutely. Sandy, how about you? What do you feel when you have, or what do you do when you feel lower self-esteem?
Jargu, like everyone else says, I also think about the things that I have, and I also keep a mindset that not everyone is perfect, and everyone has their own different struggles. So I remind myself that I'm blessed with all the things that I have. Jargu.
Sanvi, you mentioned something really, really great, which is we don't know what other people have or don't have, and we only see the very surface. And so sometimes we compare ourselves and we think that, oh, it must be so great to be this person, or it must be so great to have this thing that someone else has. But we only see maybe 1% of their life from the outside. We're not actually in their shoes. We don't experience the thoughts that they have in their head, or their life story is not ours. And so that's something that's really important for us to remind ourselves, in that, when we do feel jealous or we feel our ego coming in the way of us being grateful, it's important to remember that everybody's going through their own journey, and that what we have at this moment, or the stage that we're at this time, is right where we are supposed to be. And so finding within ourselves that positivity to not get distracted by the other things. So I love what all of you mentioned in terms of trying to remind ourselves of what we do have, and remember that even those things could be taken away. So it's important to feel grateful. And then also, as each of us gets older, it's also important to remind ourselves that things come to you when you are ready for them. So if there's something that you're working towards and you haven't quite gotten there yet, or achieved that thing, maybe there's a little bit more learning to do before that thing becomes yours or before you've earned that achievement. So that's also really important to remember too. It doesn't happen very quickly. It takes some time. But as long as we continue to remind ourselves those things, hopefully we have that patience going forward. So we talked about some of the things that we all practice when we feel jealous. I'm curious, when we do practice those things like thankfulness, how do we feel in that moment? Arnav, when you do feel like you're able to practice being thankful, how do you feel in that moment?
Jaguru, I normally feel like really good in that moment. You?
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's hear from a few others. Suhani, how do you feel when you practice feeling content? Or how about Shreyasi? How do you feel when you practice being content?
It's kind of when I do something so much and practice it a lot, it kind of becomes a habit, and when it becomes a habit, it allows me to clear the path to be truly happy and to not have regret and negativity always covering and clouding my decisions in my mind. Jaguru.
Jaguru Shreyasi, thank you for sharing. I like that you mentioned the word habit, which means that you're trying to practice something so much that you don't even think twice about it. So I love how you expressed how you feel and also how it's become a practice for you. One more person. How about Pratyusha? How do you feel when you practice being thankful or being grateful?
Jaguru, I just feel really like my mind is at peace, and like it's just a really nice feeling. Jaguru.
Yeah, at peace. That's awesome. It's especially when we feel jealous or we feel our ego rising, it's hard to feel at peace. It feels like you can't think straight, or there are just a lot of conflicting emotions. But then when you kind of zoom out of that a little bit and you remind yourself of what you do have, that sense of peace is really, really comforting. It really helps kind of tame the emotions that might be in your mind at the time. I want to connect this back to one of the 5 niyamas we had discussed in the past, which was santosha. Santosha in Sanskrit is derived from sam, which means completely, and dosha, which means contentment, satisfaction, or acceptance. So altogether, santosha means completely content with or completely in acceptance of. It gives us an attitude of understanding and accepting oneself and one's environments and circumstances as they are. And I think this is really important for each of us throughout our spiritual journeys, because it allows us to be in a spiritual state necessary for optimism. And optimism is what gives us the strength and confidence to change our future. So ultimately, santosha helps us reach a state of inner peace, like we were just talking about. And that inner peace, when we learn to be able to preserve it despite all the ups and downs in our lives, that leads us to feel happy. How long do you all think it took the king to have the knowledge that we should be thankful and content? We said earlier that at the very end of the story, he reminded the PM to be thankful to God for what he has. But I'm curious, Naitik, how long do you think it took the king to have that maturity or have that knowledge to pass down?
Jaguru, I think the king probably got the maturity pretty early in life, but like he's probably always been treated like, as he described to the peon, he's always been treated like that most likely, so pretty early in life. Jaguru?
Yeah. He's probably had that realization early on. Let's hear from some others too. Anj, how long do you think it took the king to have that wisdom of you should always be grateful for what you have?
Jaeger, I think that he probably got that realization as soon as he was like aware of the differences in life between having those like legs and being able to walk and not having them. Because that way he would have realized how he should have been grateful for that before.
Very good. Yeah, both of you have shared that it's aware, probably as soon as he was fully aware of his condition and realizing how it impacted him, like that's maybe when he got that wisdom. I'll ask one other person, and I'm asking a few of you only because there's no right answer to this question. So I'm curious what others are thinking too. How about Divyam? How long do you think they took the king to be wise enough to realize you just have to be grateful for what you have?
I think it took the king, I think it took the king, until he was, in unfortunate situation to realize how lucky, I think it was when he was in, a bad situation, that's when he realized.
Yeah, it's really interesting because none of you shared any ages. Like there are no I think he was 20 years old or 30 years old or at this life stage, which is exactly right. From the story, it's really not clear how long it might have taken the king, but for everyone, it's really different. So for some, that knowledge of I should really be grateful and practice gratitude comes very quickly, regardless of whether you've been in a life circumstance that forces you to think that way or not. And then for others, it takes time. Neither is good or bad, but it's important that if some of us already have that knowledge, we should try very, very hard not to lose it. So I know sometimes we go through a situation and then we realize, oh, it's actually really helpful to be grateful for where we are. And then when we learn that, sometimes we forget it the next time we go through a tough situation. So it's important for us to not lose that knowledge if we have it. And for those of us that may not have it quite yet, it's important to keep practicing what we talked about throughout this discussion in terms of the different practices that we can do for our feeling of content to become very second nature to us. So going forward, just to summarize, Anhik, what are some ways we can practice gratitude in our daily lives?
Jaeger, I think one of the first things that we can do is to just be thankful for what we already have, and to, like I said earlier, to appreciate the situation that we're already in, and to be content with all the material objects that you have. Jaeger?
Yes, absolutely. Just be really just remind ourselves that there is a way that we can express thanks, whether that's writing it down or expressing it verbally or sharing that with others too, to remind ourselves of what we do have and to allow that to be where we start or even end our day. Anyone else? How about Simran? What do you think are some ways we can practice being thankful every day?
I think that we should focus on one thing at a time and show gratitude to people.
Yes, absolutely. I like the note on focusing one thing at a time because sometimes we lose focus of what we're doing in the moment or what we have in the moment. And so then that distracts from realizing the value of what we have, and therefore it's hard to practice thankfulness. But when we focus just on one thing at a time, it's easier for us to do that. And like you said, being thankful to other people who help us, so saying thank you, acknowledging when others have done something to make our lives easier, absolutely. And I know the question was about practicing this daily, but do people have thoughts on how often we should practice gratitude and contentment. Yukta, what are your thoughts? How often do you think we should practice these qualities?
Jaguru, I think gratitude and being content should be practiced every day, at least when you wake up, because in our lives we constantly see things, we constantly see new opportunities that we don't have. So I think it's always important to focus on what we do have. Jaguru.
Jaguru, Yukta, yes, thank you for sharing. I think I heard you say even from the moment we wake up, and I really like that because it's such a great way to ground ourselves every day. Absolutely, we should continuously practice it as many times as possible every day. If we do that, we'll get to a point where no matter what happens to us, we will remember Thakura and his grace, which will give us the peace and strength to move forward. So to wrap up, I hope that each of us can continue practicing gratitude and contentment because as we heard from everyone's experiences, being thankful and finding that inner peace can truly be life-changing. It can help us when we're sad, maybe when we're upset or disappointment, and can even help us be happy for a longer period. Eventually, it'll also help us stop comparing ourselves to others and remove so many of the desires we tend to have as human beings. So when that happens, we're much closer to being the ideal human beings that Thakura wants to see us become. So with that, we are out of time. Thank you to each of you for spending your time in our discussion today. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to learn from you all. And I beg for forgiveness for any mistakes I might have made. Today, Yukta has Bari and Hababinimaya Sepa. So Yukta, please go ahead when you're ready. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Today is my Baba Vinamaya, and I'm really grateful. This year, I have started my first year in high school, and so far, I have really enjoyed it. All my teachers are very nice, and I have enjoyed the material in my classes so far. Just yesterday, my family went to Akshardham Mandir in New Jersey, and it's a really beautiful structure, and it was such a sacred experience. I was always in awe when I saw the structures, and I thought about how much thought and devotion was put into them. I can tell there was such a selflessness in the making of these, and I was and still in admiration. In the front of the mandir is a statue of Sri Swami Narayan, and he is believed by his followers as a manifestation of Krishna, and he represents devotion and righteousness. Inside of the mandir are many other deities, including Sri Krishna, Lord Ganesha, Lord Shiva, Lord Hanuman, and plenty of more. One of the new ones I learned about was someone named Lord Brihaspati. In Vedic astrology, he represents the planet Jupiter. Lord Brihaspati is thought as the guru of gods, since the planet Jupiter represents the vast wisdom and knowledge. Anyway, I'm really happy I was able to share this with you, and I hope that you were able to learn something. I wish everyone has a great day. Jai Guru.
जय गुरु आराधना
जय गुरु आज मोर बाबा सेवा पाली श्री ठाकुर प्रतिदिन जहाँ भी मोर दिनचर्या जहाँ भी होता है सेयार करे सेयार करने द्वारा मनर जो सब जिन समस्त सेयार करें निकट सब किसी सेयार करे निकट तो किसी लुचेक रही पारनी तो जनइला मनटा टी हाल्का लगे निकट में मोर समर्पण भावटा सब एमती थाऊ से निकट मोर प्रार्थना जमती आम पहरा न जाणी आम नाउरी उपर भरसा करमती नईटा पार करमती जीवन बड़ सागर को हाथ धरिकी आम पार कर ये पाखे था पाद तले आमर अनुरोध आशीर्वाद आम पर था जय गुरु
जय गुरु
प्राणर ठाकुर पूज्य भाई माँ और पिला माने आज बहुत खुशी लगुच पाली अच्छी आज गोटे शुभ दिन कार्तिक मसरे तो देखा गले सबुदिन शुभ जदि आम ठाकुर को मन पकई पारिबा सहित जोगयुक्त हो रही पारिबा। तो गोटे गीत बहुत भल लगे भल पाइबार रीति जना नहीं भाव प्रेम प्रीति पाइबा कहीं जना नहीं मते साधन भजन दिन अधमरे देइछ शरण करिछ जीवन धन्य कि भाषा कृतज्ञता जणाइबी मोर ठाकुर। प्रकृति आज भी पढ़ा पिला मानकर जो होता ग्रेटिट्यूड ये सब विषय आलोचना कर मत सब भल माने मन पड़े ठाकुर मु कि भाषा कृतज्ञता जणाइबी। पिला बेलू मते भक्त परिवार जन्म देइछ मो हेतु पाइबा दिन आम घर पाखे मंदिर थिला सब बेले शंख घंटा शब्द आउ ये नाम कीर्तन से बढ़ी आमती है कटक रे जन्म होती सेठी कटक रे घर साइड रे मंदिर थिला भुवनेश्वर बापा जो घर कले आम घर पाखे भी सेठी जोटे प्लॉट खाली थिला सेठी भी मंदिर हो गला एबे भी सब बेले से घंट घंटा धूप भोग नैवेद्य से सबुरे से महल रे मते ठाकुर नहीं चलैछंती आई सुदूर अमेरिका रे भी साधु संघ देइछंती संघर एसोसिएशन रही मत लगे जमी सब बेले ठाकुर पाखे पाखे अच्छा हाथ धरी नहीं जाउछंती। मते साधु संघ माने एमती पूजा ये जोग देवा को बहुत भल लगे प्रसाद पाया को भल लगे नाम कीर्तन ये सब जोग देवा भल लगे आ ठाकुर सब जमी मन जाणिकी सब कर नौकरी मु कथा किसी कर ठाकुर जमी मोर एमती सब बेले लगुच जमी मो पाखे पाखे अच्छा मु जहाँ भावुची से सब शुणुंट बहुत समय जीवन में तो आमर कर्मफल तो भोग करने को संसार को आसीचे केते दुख कष्ट जो हुए बहुत कातर हो पड़े से ठाकुर पाखे भावे जमी ठाकुर कोड़े मुंड रखुच्छे ठाकुर अंशी दे कहते जीवनटा अभाव अशांति गढ़ा बहुत सांत्वना आसे जमी ठाकुर मुंड आंची दौरान मरम वेदना कहबी का आगे किए अच्छी तुम बिना ठाकुर आसन मंदिर जो संघरे जो आमर आसे एत मन खुशी हो जाए भाषा कहीपरि प्रकाश करें जो अमेरिका सारस्वत संघ गढ़ा हवा पूर्व आम बालेंटाइन एरिया सार्लोटे रहू पाखे गोटे थिला गोटे बहुत बड़ लैंड बहुत सुंदर लैंड बड़टा मु सब बेले बाटे से बाटे गला बेले भावे आ ठाकुर एमती गोटे एमती रास्ता कड़े थी बाँ पटे थी गोटे जगटे केमती ठाकुर रहते कि ठाकुर ये आसन मंदिर जगह है बहुत खुशी लगला आते आमर जो संघ ही न था मु जुआड़े जो जाए सबुठी खाली ठाकुर प्रार्थना करे केमती जहाँ भल भल जिनस देखे भावे आमर केमती हाँ कि गोटे छोट कथा कहि ठाकुर केमती सब शुणती आ 2008 डिसेम्बर मसरे जाइली आम भाई पिला माने सास ससुर आम समस्ते दिल्ली मथुरा वृंदावन से जाइलु फेरला बेले दिल्ली संघरे सेठी संघ पूजार जोगदेलु कुना भाई कहले भाव विनिमय करिया को सेठी जो प्रणाम कली सेठी रूपा पादासन दिया 2008 मसीहा डिसेम्बर मसरे मत कहीं लगे एत सुंदर है समस्त आसन मंदिर एत होती मुझे ठाकुर को प्रार्थना कली मत भाव विनिमय किसी जना ना मुझे बहुत समय खाली प्रार्थना करे कहली ठाकुर केबे आमर अमेरिका सारस्वत आसन मंदिर हम तुम सुंदर सुदृश्य आसन विजय कर आमर भी रूपा पादासन हम आम भी सेमती सजे रखब मोर तो मन था मोर भी जो सेवक बिजु भाई नित्य सेवक सी से 2008 डिसेम्बर थे से मत मन पकईदे कहले माँ आप प्रार्थना करते 2008 मसीह ठाकुर बहुत कथा प्रार्थना एमती शुणी 2022 मसीह रथयात्रा बेले आमर सम्मेलन हबार थिला खाली मन खाली व्याकुलित होता जमी रथे तो बामन दृष्टा पुनर्जन्म न भवंती केमती रथरे केमती ठाकुर को देखी भावुली सेमती आहरी भी केते भक्तों मन में है पल्लविता माँ भी मत कहते विश्वरंजन भाई से जहाँ भाई मैंने गोटे रथ कले ठाकुर को बहुत कष्ट होती रथरे ठीक रे बसी पार किंतु तथापि इच्छा थी मोर बहुत रथ टाणिया को ठाकुर से आशा पूरण करदे आ सब भावे दोली रे केमती ठाकुर को झुलेबी किंतु झुले पारे थे गोटे किणिकी झोट दोलीटे से भी घरे झुलिया चेष्टा करछि रखी सब दोलरे सब जिते इच्छा झुलाऊँ एथर परिचालक देखी कहले बढ़िया आज भी आम आसन सजा ठाकुर କୋକିଳ ମୁଖର ସେ ପୋଖରୀ ବସିଛନ୍ତି। କେତେ ବର୍ଷ ହେଲାଣି ମୁଁ ଭାବୁଛି ଆମର ଏ ଯୋଉ ଆମର ପଶ୍ଚିମ ପାଖରେ ଯେମିତି ଗୋଟେ ପୋଖରୀଟା ହେଇଯାଆନ୍ତା। ମୁଁ ଯୋଉ ନ୍ୟୁ ବୃନ୍ଦାବନ ଯାଇଥିଲି ସେଠି ଯେମିତି ଗୋଟେ ସୁନ୍ଦର ପୋଖରୀ ହେଇଛି, ସେଥିରେ ହଂସ ଖେଳୁଛନ୍ତି, ପଦ୍ମ ଫୁଲ ହେଇଛି। ମୁଁ ଯାଇକି ଦୌଡ଼ି ଦୌଡ଼ି ଯାଇକି ପଦ୍ମ ଫୁଲ ଆଣିକି ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ପାଦରେ ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ, ଆମେ ମିଶିକି ଫୁଲ ମାଳ କରନ୍ତୁ। ଠାକୁରେ ଆଉ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଯୋଉଠିକି ମନ୍ଦିର ଯାଏ ଭାବେ କେମିତି ଛୋଟ ଛୋଟ ବୋଟ ହେଇଛି, କେମିତି ସବୁ ଦେଖିଛି କି ସୁନ୍ଦର ହେଇଛି ଠାକୁରେ। ଆଉ ଭାବେ କେମିତି ଏମିତି କେତେ ସବୁବେଳେ ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆସନ ମନ୍ଦିରକୁ ପଶି ଆସେ, ଆମର ଯୋଉ ବାଞ୍ଛା କଳ୍ପତରୁ ବିଗ୍ରହ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ବହୁତ ବଟାନିକାଲ ଗାର୍ଡେନ ଯାଉଥିଲେ ଆମେ କଲିକତାରେ, ସେଟା ସବୁ ପଢିଛୁ। ମୁଁ ଏଇ ଆସନ ମନ୍ଦିର ଆସିଲେ ଯେମିତି ମତେ ଗୋଟେ ଲାଗେ ମୁଁ ଅଲଗା ଦୁନିଆରେ ଅଛି। ଭାବେ କେମିତି ସେ କଲିକତାରେ ଯେମିତି ବଟାନିକାଲ ଗାର୍ଡେନ କୁ ଠାକୁର ଯାଉଥିଲେ, ଆମର ଏଠି ପିଲାମାନେ ପାଠ ପଢୁଥିଲେ ଚାପେଲ ହିଲରେ, ସେଠି ସବୁ ଗୋଟେ ବଟାନିକାଲ ଗାର୍ଡେନ ଅଛି। ମୁଁ ସବୁବେଳେ ମନେ ମନେ ଖାଲି ଭାବେ ଆମର ଏଠି ଯଦି ବଟାନିକାଲ ଗାର୍ଡେନ ଗୋଟେ ଥିବ, ଏମିତି ଠାକୁର ବୁଲୁଥାନ୍ତେ। ଆଉ ବାଞ୍ଛା କଳ୍ପତରୁ ବିଗ୍ରହ ଯେମିତି ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ଅନିଲା ବେଳକୁ ଯେମିତି ଗଛ ମୂଳରେ ଠାକୁର ଗୋଡ ଭଇ କରି ଠିଆ ହେଇଛନ୍ତି, ସେଠି ଯାଇକି ପ୍ରଣାମ କରନ୍ତି। ଜୟଗୁରୁ ଠାକୁରେ। ଆଉ ଯୁଆଡେ ଯାହା କହିଲି, ଯେତେବେଳେ ଏଇ ମାନେ ଆମର ସଂଘକୁ ଦେଖିକି ଆଉ ଏଇ ଠାକୁର ପାଖକୁ ଆସିକି ଏତେ ଇଏ ଲାଗେ। ଆଉ ସବୁବେଳେ ଭାବେ ଯେମିତି ଫୁଲ, ଆଉ ଯୋଉଠିକି ଯାହା ଦେଖିଲେ ମୋର ଖାଲି ସବୁବେଳେ ଇଚ୍ଛା ହୁଏ କେମିତି ଆମର ଏଇ ସଂଘରେ କେମିତି ସବୁ ହେଇଯାଆନ୍ତା। ଏତେ ବଡ ଜାଗା ଅଛି। ଆଉ ମୋର କେତେ ଜଣ ସାଙ୍ଗ କଣ କରିଛନ୍ତି ନା, ସବୁ ଛୋଟ ଛୋଟ ଗ୍ରୀନ ହାଉସ ରଖିକି ସେଠି ଏତେ ଏତେ ମଲ୍ଲି ଫୁଲ ରଖିଛନ୍ତି। ସବୁବେଳେ ମଲ୍ଲି ଫୁଲ ହଉଛି ଶୀତ ଦିନେ। ମୋର ବି ଇଚ୍ଛା ହୁଏ କେମିତି ଠାକୁର ଆମର ବି କେମିତି ହେଇଯାଆନ୍ତା। ସବୁବେଳେ ଖାଲି ଏଇ ମୋର ଭାବନାଟା ବହୁତ ଥାଏ। ଆଉ ଏଇ ତ ଦେଖିକି ଯୋଉ ଚାପରେ ଯେମିତି ଦୋଳେଶୁ ଦୋଳ ଗୋବିନ୍ଦ ଚାପିସୁ ମଧୁସୂଦନ ରଥିତୁ ବାମନ ଦୃଷ୍ଟି, ଆମର ବି ଯୋଉ ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ବୋଟରେ ବସା ହେଇଛି, ମୋର ଖାଲି ଲାଗୁଛି ଯେମିତି ଠାକୁର ଏଠି ଇଚ୍ଛା କଲେଣି ଗୋଟେ ଆଉ ଥରେ ବସିବେ ବୋଟରେ ଭଲ କି, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କେମିତି ସୁନ୍ଦର ଦୃଶ୍ୟ ସରୋବର ହବ, ଆମେ ବି ଠାକୁରଙ୍କୁ ବୁଲେଇବୁ। ଆଉ ହଂସ ଖେଳୁଛନ୍ତି, ପଦ୍ମ ଫୁଲ ବି ଫୁଟିବ, ବହୁତ ଫୁଟିବ, ଯେମିତିକି ମାଳ ଦେଇପାରିବୁ। ଆଉ ପାଦ ପଦ୍ମରେ ପ୍ରଣାମ ଦେଇ କରିବୁ ଦୋଷ କ୍ଷମା ସାଗର। ଠାକୁରେ ଜୀବନର ଅଧା ସମୟ ତ ଅଧା କଣ 3/4 ସମୟ ତ ଗଲାଣି। ଆଉ ଠାକୁରେ କେମିତି ଯାହା କହିଛ କେମିତି ମାନିପାରେ ତୁମ କଥା, ସେତିକି କୃପା ଭିକ୍ଷା କରୁଛି। ଆଉ ଆଜି ଆମେ ଯୋଉ ଗୀତ ବୋଲା ହଉଥିଲା, କର୍ମ ଜଞ୍ଜାଳଟା ତ କେବେ ଦୂରେଇ ଯିବନି, କିନ୍ତୁ ଆଶୀର୍ବାଦ କରନ୍ତୁ ଠାକୁରେ, ହାତ ଧରିକି ଠିକ ବାଟରେ ନେଇଯାଆନ୍ତୁ, ଯେମିତି କର୍ତ୍ତବ୍ୟ କର୍ମ ଗୁଡିକ ଠିକ ଭାବରେ ସମ୍ପାଦନ କରିପାରିବି। ଆଉ ତୁମ ସେବାରେ ମନ ରହୁ। ଆଉ ଯାହା ସାଧନ ଭଜନ ତୁମ ଉପଦେଶ ଠିକ ଭାବରେ ପାଳନ କରିପାରିବି। ତୁମ ଆଦର୍ଶ ସେବିକା ହୋଇବି, ତୁମ ମନ ଲାଖି ସେବିକା ହୋଇ ତୁମ ସେବା ପୂଜା କରିପାରିବି। ଆଶୀର୍ବାଦ କରନ୍ତୁ। ତୁମ ପୂଜା ଫୁଲ ହୋଇବି ଠାକୁର, ଶ୍ରୀଚରଣ ନୀତି ଲାଗୁଥିବି। ସର୍ବଦୋଷ କ୍ଷମାର ଠାକୁର, ପ୍ରାଣର ଠାକୁର। ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ। ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ। ଭୋଗ ରନ୍ଧନ କରିଛୁ, ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଶ୍ରୀଚରଣରେ ପ୍ରାର୍ଥନା, କୃପା କରି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ରୁମକୁ ନେଲା ପରେ ଆପଣ କୃପା କରି ଗ୍ରହଣ କରିବେ, ଆମକୁ କୃତାର୍ଥ କରିବେ। ଆଉ ତମକୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କଣ ଭଲ ଲାଗେ ତ ଆମେ ଜାଣିନୁ, ଯାହା ଆମର ଦିନ ଭାବରେ ଯାହା ଭୋଗ ପ୍ରସ୍ତୁତ କରିଛୁ, ଆପଣ କୃପା କରି ତାହା ଗ୍ରହଣ କଲେ ଆମେ କୃତାର୍ଥ ହେବୁ। ଆଉ ଠାକୁର ଭୋଗ ଗ୍ରହଣ କଲା ପରେ ଭକ୍ତମାନଙ୍କୁ ନିମନ୍ତ୍ରଣ ଜଣାଉଛି, ଭକ୍ତମାନେ ପ୍ରସାଦ ସେବନ କରିବେ। ଜୟ। ଆଉ ଆଜି ନିଗମ ସ୍ମୃତି ମନ୍ଦିରରେ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା ପୂଜା 6:30 ଅନୁଷ୍ଠିତ ହେବ, ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଶ୍ରୀ ଶ୍ରୀ ଠାକୁର ମହାରାଜ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ନିମନ୍ତ୍ରଣ ଜଣାଉଛି। ଆପଣ ଆସନ ଗ୍ରହଣ କରି ସେବା ଗ୍ରହଣ କରିବେ। ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ।
Jai Guru. I invite Sri Sri Thakura, all the Bhais, Mas and young aspirants to our next Y session to be held next Sunday, November 12th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Please join the puja and make it a success. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru. Sri Sri Thakura Maharaj, समस्त भाई माँ मैंने और पिला माने आसंता नवेम्बर 12 तारिख दिन ठाकुर महाराज अपार करुणा मत संघ पूजा पाली मिली। श्री श्री ठाकुर महाराज समस्त भाई माँ पिला संघ पूजा निमंत्रण करुच्ची, दयाकोरी पूजा योगदान दे पूजाटी साफल्यमंडित करेंगे। जय गुरु।
जय गुरु। प्राणर ठाकुर भाई माँ पिला माने ଆଜି ସଂଘ ପୂଜାରେ ଠାକୁର ପରମାରାଧ୍ୟ ପରମ କାରୁଣିକ ଦୟାର ସାଗର କ୍ଷମାମୟ କୃପାମୟ ଆଜି ମୋ ୟୁକ୍ତା ଆରାଧନା ମା ଓ ମୋର ସେବାରେ ପାଳିଥିଲା। ଏହା ଏତଦ୍ ବ୍ୟତୀତ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ସେବାରେ ବହୁତ ଭାଇ ମା ପିଲାମାନେ ଯୋଗ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି। ଆମ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କର ସେବାରେ ହୋଇଥିବା ସମସ୍ତ ତ୍ରୁଟି ବିଚ୍ୟୁତିକୁ ଆପଣ କୃପା କରି କ୍ଷମା କରିବେ ଓ ଆମକୁ ସେବାର ସୁଯୋଗ ଦେବେ। ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ।
ଜୟ ଗୁରୁ। দীননাথ এই ভিক্ষা করে শ্রীচরণে দীননাথ হরে শ্রীচরণে তব কথা রাখিথিবি মননে দেব তব কথা রাখিথিবি মননে স্মরণে বাহারি কি নাহি নকরি সোচনা বাহারি কি নাহি নকরি সোচনা করিবি প্রথমে নিজ স্বভাব মার্জনা দেব করিবি প্রথমে নিজ স্বভাব মার্জনা পরদোষ খুঁজি ভুলি নধাইব মন পরদোষ খুঁজি ভুলি নধাইব মন লাগিথিবি সদা করি আত্মসংশোধন দেব লাগিথিবি সদা করি আত্মসংশোধন বচনে আলাপে হেউ রসনা সংযত বচনে আলাপে হেউ রসনা সংযত ঘুঞ্চি যাও অবসাদ দেহর জড়স্ত দেব ঘুঞ্চি যাও অবসাদ দেহর জড়স্ত উচিত ভাষণে নহু কিছু অন্তরায় উচিত ভাষণে নহু কিছু অন্তরায় যথা কর্ম হেউ চিত্ত সুধীর সহায় দেব যথা কর্ম হেউ চিত্ত সুধীর সহায় নিরলস ভাবে তব আদেশ পালন নিরলস ভাবে তব আদেশ পালন করে দিবে হেউ তহি প্রাণর স্ফুরণ দেব করে দিবে হেউ তহি প্রাণর স্ফুরণ ন মানিবি কাহি কেউ বারণ বন্ধন 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 জহি থায়ে রহি থাও তব পদে মন দেব জহি থায়ে রহি থাও তব পদে মন জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয়
জয় গুরু জয়, জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয়।
জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয়, 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 জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু, জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু, জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু, জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু। জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয়, জয় গুরু জয়।
জয় গুরু জয়
জয় গুরু জয় গুরু 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 জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় জয় শ্রী ঠাকুর আনন্দ বলে শ্রী গুরু মহারাজ জয় জয় গুরু জয় গুরু জয় গুরু